11 signs you're dealing with a toxic person. The term toxic is frequently used these days, but what does it actually mean? It goes without saying that toxic people are unpleasant to be around, but the negative effect they can have on people goes deep. These people will find ways to blame you for everything, control you, suffocate you, and invalidate you, leading you to abandon yourself. Not only that, but they're energy vampires, which means their mere presence seems to drain the life out of you. They cause you a great deal of distress, which you may even justify because you don't understand why it's affecting you so badly. Additionally, toxic people will often make you question your sanity. When a toxic person has a hold on you, you will find yourself accommodating them, making poor decisions, and becoming engulfed in drama. All of this will lead to an overall diminishing of self-esteem and self-worth, and even anxiety and depression. You've probably met a toxic person or two in your life, but sometimes they can be hard to spot. In this video, we dig into what signs to watch out for, and how to deal with toxic people in your life. Before we start, if you don't want to miss out my latest video, don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell too. 1. Emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation includes a whole host of behaviors and tactics, and if you suspect you're being emotionally manipulated, you're probably dealing with a toxic person. They will put you down and insult you, often in a passive-aggressive or backhanded way, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. Maybe they make jokes about something you're sensitive about to get a rise out of you, or maybe they withhold affection to punish you for no apparent reason. All they want is to make you squirm. It's what they thrive on. 2. Dishonesty. Dishonesty of any kind, whether deception, lying, or general secrecy, is a sign of a toxic person. This one is tough, depending on how good a liar you're dealing with, but if you catch them lying, especially multiple times, don't take it lightly. 3. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a type of emotional manipulation, but it gets its own call-out because it can be hard to realize when it's happening to you. Gaslighting is essentially when you express your thoughts and feelings. Someone may deny your reality by using phrases like you're making things up, or you're being dramatic. This is toxic, and it can cause you to doubt your own intuition and experiences. 4. Lack of accountability. Toxic people do not want to take the blame for anything, and they'll make sure they don't. They not only show a lack of accountability for their actions, but they frequently blame others. 5. Lack of boundaries. Toxic people have no concept or respect for boundaries. If you set a healthy, reasonable boundary, they'll trample all over it, even blaming you for being too sensitive if your boundary is crossed. 6. Unsupportive. Does this person support your goals and dreams? Are they happy for you when something goes right in your life? Are they concerned about your wants and needs? If the answer to these questions is no, that's a toxic person. Even when they make feigned attempts at support, it can often come across as toxic positivity, which is essentially insincere optimism to avoid actually holding space for someone. 7. Energy draining. Going back to the idea of energy vampires, toxic people are extremely draining to be around. They deplete you and leave you exhausted. They cause stress, depletion, and negativity in those around them. 8. Power dynamics. Toxic people are more likely to create a power dynamic. They don't want relationships with mutual respect and reciprocity, but rather ones where they have the upper hand and can manipulate the people around them. 9. Encouraging codependency. Toxic people, like the aforementioned power structure, will not only encourage but also create a codependent dynamic. If you're being gaslighted and your trust in your own self has diminished, you'll lean on this toxic person even further, which is exactly what they want. They will do everything in their power to isolate you from the people in your life. 10. Inciting drama. Toxic people want to make you uncomfortable. So don't be surprised if they can't stop themselves from starting a fight. For example, they may know you have an early morning the next day, and ask to do something late that night, just so you'll have to say no and set that boundary. Then they'll accuse you of being difficult or demanding. 11. Insincere apologies. The more sophisticated toxic people who know when they've done wrong, because they did it on purpose, they may apologize to you. But they will make it all about you, and make it all your fault, with phrases like "I'm sorry you think I was wrong," or "I'm sorry if I upset you." Their apologies won't be sincere. And remember, an apology without change is manipulation in its own right. So, what can be done to deal with these toxic people? Ignore them if possible, and leave if you're in a relationship with them, no matter it is romantic or not. If the toxic relationship is one-sided, it's time to distance yourself or end it. Of course, there are times when we are unable to avoid certain people, whether they are toxic family members or co-workers. In that case, it's important to know your boundaries and stick to them. Sometimes we don't realize we are indeed allowed to set firm boundaries. If you're having trouble with this, try create some sorts of script, outlining exactly what you want to say before you say it. When dealing with toxic people, we must understand what we're up against and respond accordingly. It's the law of the jungle, which basically means you wouldn't go into a jungle, unless you were properly equipped to protect yourself. So, don't be afraid to do just that. This doesn't mean you are not a compassionate person. It means you are taking care of yourself and ensuring self-preservation. Defending yourself is not the same as provoking someone else, and you can keep your kindest, most loving self for those who deserve it. Last but certainly not least, do some trauma work, because toxic people will know how to hit you where it hurts. Make sure you heal the trauma, respond wisely, and you are strategic, so that they can't trigger you. Sometimes it can be difficult to admit to ourselves, when a close person in our lives is toxic. We don't want to believe it, and we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. However, if any of these signs and behaviors have made you uneasy, you're probably dealing with a toxic person. No one deserves to be emotionally manipulated or abused in any way, so, your best bet is to keep as much distance as possible. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next episode.